You see these people's houses getting raided on the constant for their. It seems like once money and power is there, it's just the saying just rings true. Just with power and money comes absolute. Just I don't know. You turn into someone different, and money, power, and greed have turned this country into turned it away from what it was meant to be into this. I don't even know. I mean, it's just a joke on a daily basis. You look at the news, the president, he looks like one of those shells in Mario. After he's done with his speech, he doesn't know where to go, so he just bobs back and forth until someone grabs his hand and wheels him down the aisle. And then the guy we got running against him is I don't know. It's this country's just it's gone so far. So Daniel Inouye spoke about breakaway civilization, breakaway shadow government, and do you think that there is such thing? Are
I
you under
think the
the
speech that Senator Inouye gave is something that everybody should pay a lot of attention to, that there are these other factions that exist in the shadows, behind the scenes. This was very much part of the conversation that I had when I did go and testify at the Senate Intelligence Committee and Arrow. This was part of what went down. Was there seems to be an awareness that there are factions that have gone rogue, that are no longer operating with any oversight, and that the pretense of secrecy being how we got here and protected these folks has been, I guess, taken advantage of. And it's become questionable that some of these factions are operating for what is best for everyone anymore. So, I mean, this is where we're at. This is the problem with the ways of the world, is that technology and secrecy at levels that we never thought would get entangled are currently occurring, and we really need to consider what that means, So, how far down the rabbit hole have we gone with what's possible starts with, I guess, answering first what's possible. What is possible, what could be going on around us, and then we'll have a debate about how far down we could have taken this technology and these tools and resources, to what depths of disrepair and dismay and debacle could they be being applied. Well, first we have to figure out what could be getting applied.
Right. And if we look around at all the testimony, I mean, from various whistleblowers, David Grush, yourself, even Michael Herrera, others. There was the lady that came out at the South Pole right before you did. I forget her name. Was it? She came out. Renee Nicole. I forget her last name. She didn't come out as a whistleblower, but she came out. She kind of lines up with your story, and you knew her personally, and she suffered from what they said was originally these, she had a stroke, but it, clearly looked more like Vanna syndrome, and she was trying to get herself evac'd while you were there, and you had worked with her. So I think, if you take all this testimony, right, there's clearly some faction in the government or faction of the government or the military industrial complex that has broken off and will do anything to keep this secret. And it doesn't just start with neutrino weapons or directed energy weapons, but it's a UAP, it's everything, it's all connected. And have you started making some of those connections?
Yeah, absolutely. And this, for me, has been going on for quite some time, and it amazes me that everybody else is just having a hard time following along, even because it seems that once trail is being broken here, it leads to the obvious. There's new information to most people coming out now, but where the conversation is going is that pretty much all microwave radar systems have the capacity to be used offensively, like an attacking ray. And we now need to reconsider all of our history that we've had these types of radar systems that we were trained to believe only had a passive capacity, like listening, like being an electronic ear is kind of the perception that we were trained to maintain for this type of technology. But now we have to retrain our brains to realize, no, there was more going on. These things aren't simply passively listening. They have an active ability to do something offensively in the frequency spectrum, in the directed energy weapons direction that we're just learning has been around for a lot longer than we've been told.
Yeah, I mean, look at the amount of patents that get seized every year that have to do with alternative energy or anything in the field of alternative propulsion or just that field. They slap a national security tag on it and a national security order on it, and it gets shelved. But it gets shelved from the public. The only way that project moves forward at that point is if you work with the military as the inventor, right? The only way that you'll be able to now utilize your invention is if you sell it to the military, because it's under national security order. So why is it such a stretch to think that the military industrial complex or some subset of it, some group, has this advanced technology and is not being forthcoming about it? It blows my mind that people can't put this all together. And we don't have to drag on about that. I want to get more into what has directly happened to you, but it really does. It blows my mind. I mean, it's very clear that something is happening in plain sight.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If people just paid more attention to what's going on around them in the real world, not the virtual reality that they're trying to get everyone to focus on, you have to turn away from the screen, pay attention to the patterns of reality going on around you, and you'll get a massive education as to what the intentions of your enemies are, because they're heir apparent everywhere you look in reality. There are attacks on your ability to wield free will. I mean, it's just omnipresent if you're looking in the right direction.
Right. And these things, if what you're saying is true, then they could put anything in your mind at any moment and make you think anything at any moment, or any make you feel a certain, like that is the ultimate. You want to talk about privacy and phone tapping? I mean, this goes
everybody knows that they've already figured this out. Everybody knows that they're holding in their hand a device that interacts with them enough that device could start throwing out but I mean, for lack of a more colloquial term, let's just call it personalized ads.
Yeah.
Or news, or properly edited and selected posts from your friends, coworkers, however you want to define it. Multiple bots could be created to start modifying your view of anything and everything through that device to get a desired outcome of how you will feel when a certain amount of attention is invested in, which this could absolutely be bought and paid for. They can put a number to a calculation. They absolutely can look at you and be like, what do we want him to be thinking in 1 week? And what would it cost us to make that happen? What programs do we have that we can sick on him to make this occur? And these studies have been ongoing. We're living in that world right now. Technology is already engaging with people to that extent that every time you look at your phone and some audible alarm makes you look at your phone, so there's a control mechanism there, you then look at the latest post and you have a physical reaction that your phone is now reading. It notices that your respiration rate changes. It notices that your circulation has modified. It can tell whether you liked something or didn't like something.
Right.
And then by having control of that information stream alone and everybody else's information streams, there's a massive amount of modification and manipulation to get any desired outcome with just simple investment.
Right, because once you can predict, right? So once you can predict someone's future, right, you can alter it. Because if you know their habits and their this and their that's and their dislikes, their likes, everything about them, how they're spending, how they spend their money, where they spend it, you can start now targeting certain aspects of that person's quality to get them to go a certain way. So then, yes, you're in full control at that point. And it's a fucking dangerous world, my friend. And if we got Tesla, we got Elon Musk out here already, with the trials for Neuralink. So we're one human away from being cyborgs already. And that scares the shit out of me.
People are going to be begging for it.
Yeah, they are.
Everybody that we're already pre-positioned for that to occur, and it will.
And then there will be no secrecy. But then I guess I ask, then if there is no I guess the people who control the program control everything. So the secrets stay secret for them, but not for everybody else. Everybody else's secrets are out on the table. But that's a whole thing in itself.
Therein lies the nature of the beast of the game.
Right.
That what you just said right there is pretty much the motive. And it's been happening time and time again through all of history. But as the technologies change, there's just new modalities. You can get the same outcome of the situation you just mentioned by being the church in antiquity and starting with the whole confessional booth situation. And you convince the population, oh, please come tell your sins to the priest. He won't share. This isn't run by the mafia. This isn't an intel. This isn't an intel gathering operation. This is divinity.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And leaves some money in the basket.
Yeah.
Not only does God need intel, he needs funding.
He needs a little bit of side money too. Yeah, please. And do 10 Hail Marys. Don't forget.
Absolutely.
We gotta get into heaven. Don't worry. So, all right. So in your early life, you said you did have some encounters of you saw things, things that made you question it, and then you went to elementary school, and something else happened. Can you explain what the library is?
When I was in grammar school, I guess I got caught up in what would be considered like the Stargate program, the remote viewing program that they eventually wound up putting kids through. And recently there was testimony from one of the original remote viewing team members, a man by the name of David Morehouse. And he spoke on, I believe it was the Danny Jones
Yeah, Danny
channel
Jones.
show,
Yep. Yep.
and he expressed his